The Lightning's win streak comes to an end with a loss against the Colorado Avalanche, and Powerplay rears its ugly head again. We'll break it down on today's Locked on Lightning.
You're Locked on Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked on Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to begin with a shout out to our everydayers. Those of you who tune into every single show, every single day, we love you. We appreciate the support you give us week in, week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the Richard Gere to my Julia Roberts, Greg Stephen. Greg, welcome in, my friend. Thank you for powering through a little bit of a respiratory thing you got going on there.
Yeah. Good morning. It's gonna be some quick thoughts from me today, but we're here and we're gonna talk about this game.
Who says hockey podcasters aren't as tough as hockey players?
I'm just as tough as any NHLer out there.
Yeah. Power through with a torn ACL and a collapsed lung like Pete Bergeron that one year. A lot to get to. Obviously, we're not talking about a 6-game win streak today. The Lightning's winning streak finally comes to an end against the Colorado Avalanche. With thoughts on that game and plus minus coming up. Plus, the big issue is the power play yet again. Oh, an insanely bad stretch for this Lightning power play. How do you fix it? Plus, good lineup changes last night, but Nick Paul's return is on the horizon. We're going to talk about what we're going to do when Paul comes back. Who we take out? Do we reshuffle lines? A lot to get to on today's show. Before we kick it off, I want to mention today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right. Lightning lose to the Colorado Avalanche 3-2 last night. Let's get to a quick recap of the game for those of you who weren't able to see it. First period, right off the bat, Nikita Kucherov taking advantage of some chaos behind the Avalanche net. Wraparound shot. His 5th goal of the year makes it 1-0 Lightning. Later in the period, Victor Olofsson tying it on the power play for the Avs. It's 1-1. Second period, all hell kind of breaks loose in a minute 30 span here. Victor Olofsson taking advantage of some defensive miscommunication, let's say, for the Tampa Bay Lightning, makes it 2-1. And then just a minute and a half later, our old buddy Ross Colton coming in, cleaning up a rebound shot from some missed chances from the Avalanche. It makes it 3-1 Colorado. Lightning battle back in the third period. Great individual effort from Braden Point on this goal. Takes it coast to coast. Nice through the defense like hot butter. Makes it 3-2. Lightning push late, but just can't quite get that game-tying goal. 3-2 is the final score. Greg, let's start as always with our plus minus. Give me something you like. Give me something you didn't like about this game.
I think my plus is going to be Braden Point getting a goal. Because we were kind of talking about him struggling kind of recently, and I'm just glad that he converted because we need him to return to form. And it was good to see him finally notch one.
Yeah, agree on that 100%. And Nikita Kucherov too. Remember yesterday's show, you and I talked, and it was like we want to see the big guns step up, get a couple of goals because we want them to match the Colorado. And I think all in all, I love the way that Point and Kucherov played in this one, and it's good to see them both get on the score sheet. Getting some good goals, especially Point, because we talked about him as a player that needed to step up. That coast-to-coast goal he scored, prime example of what we want to see from Braden Point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dastu even picked up an assist on that one, and I feel like Dastu looks so good. I love that he's in the lineup.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so who's your minus for this one?
Okay, the minus for this one for me is just like defensive positioning maybe is the word. Because in my eyes, like both the second and third goal are avoidable. And the reason I say that is because the second goal, JJ Moser is just puck watching and his guy is just right in front. And who is that? Victor Olofsson. He just takes a clean one-timer, no one on him, and he just puts it right in the net. I mean, you just got to take that guy's stick and get him out of there. And the Ross Colton goal, in my eyes, is a cherry-picking goal, and I think it was Crozier, unfortunately, because he's been out, and they took advantage of that. Ross Colton just sped through the neutral zone, and he's wide open, and he gets in there and he scores, and that's the game-winning goal.
Yeah, I was going the same thing. My take on it was communication. It seemed like there was a couple of players that got lost on that goal. My minus again is defense from Victor Hedman. And I said this last week too, because watch that second goal for the Colorado Avalanche. That starts with Victor Hedman not being able to make a play on the puck. And JJ Moser, maybe there's a little bit of communication breakdown. Maybe he should have marked Olofsson a little bit better, but that play starts when Victor Hedman has the puck and he's not able to get it out of the zone. We saw this come into play a little bit later too, like a really good Colorado chance caused by Hedman just muffing the puck, like completely whiffing on it. And it's one of those things that kind of makes you go, what's going on? Because look, Victor Hedman, like everything else is working. The positioning, I think, has been fine. I think offensively, he's been fine moving the puck. It's for some reason we've seen a lot of little hiccups from him.
Yeah.
In the defensive zone, a lot of whiffs. It's uncharacteristic to see him make this many mistakes, like noticeable mistakes this early in a season. I'm trying to find about how many total, like he was only credited with one giveaway, which is better than the 5 he had the other game, but it's still kind of concerning because he still seems a little bit iffy with the puck, and that is very, very unusual for a guy like Victor Hedman. Yeah,
a guy who's normally elite all the time, and we talked about him last game. We saw a similar thing, like you said. So, yeah, definitely a little bit concerning in my eyes as well.
Yeah. More to get to from this game here in just 1 second. We're going to talk about probably something that's a minus for both of us, and that is the power play, plus just our thoughts on the game. Did you think the Lightning played well enough to win? Also, some lineup talk, because something I loved about this game is did I do my plus? Wow. Okay.
You didn't.
Well, you know what? My plus is the lineup, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit later in the game.
Nice.
So there we go, everybody. My plus is the lineup, and we'll tease why I thought so a little bit later when we do lineup talk. A lot to get to on today's show. We'll have more for you when we come back. Today's episode is brought to you by Rugiad. Let's be real, guys. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've heard them all before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's okay. That's where Rugiad comes in. Rugiad offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiad makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rugiad.com/LockedOnLightning to get 15% off your first order. Again, Rugiad.com/LockedOnNHL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know that we sent you. Rugiad, stop making excuses and start making moves. Welcome back to Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. Greg, I kind of want to get your general thoughts on the game last night because obviously the win streak comes to an end. What's your thought on how the Lightning played in this one overall?
I think generally it was a pretty strong performance, actually. We kind of went into this game both talking about how we knew it was going to be a tight one, and we knew that special teams were going to be a big part of this. And I would argue they were, and we were right. It was a close game, and I think what really bothers me is that they lost this game in my eyes because of too many men on the ice. In the I think it's the first, yeah, in the first they take it too many men, and then Colorado scores on that power play, and that's just like an unacceptable penalty to me. It's an NHL team. You shouldn't have too many men on the ice. I mean, it happens occasionally, but this team's just very undisciplined sometimes, and it costs them, and I think it cost them in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge because I think you kind of have to judge this game in chunks a little bit for me, because early, right off the bat, I love the intensity of the Lightning.
Yeah.
I love that first period they showed up. And yeah, like, I don't like the too many men on the ice penalty, but I do love the way the Lightning played that entire first period. I thought the effort was there. I love Nikita Kucherov just up 90 seconds in, getting that first goal, like quieting the storm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they played really well. And then you go to kind of I guess the early middle of the second period,
Mm-hmm.
and those two quick goals from the Avalanche, and you look, and again, you mentioned a little bit of a defensive breakdown on one. We mentioned Victor Hedman making a big mistake on one, JJ Moser not being able to cover. And you kind of look at and go, okay, Lightning are getting a little bit steamrolled here.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would say third period, you saw exactly what you wanted to see from the Lightning in that situation. They were on the front foot. They were putting pressure on the Avalanche. They didn't roll over. They fought to get a goal back. That Braden Point goal was chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the type of play you want to see from Braden Point.
Absolutely.
I love what I saw from the Lightning in the first period. I love what they saw from the third period. It's just that little pocket in the second period that wound up dooming them. Mm-hmm. And Paul, John Cooper has talked about this before, where he's been like, we're not making a lot of mistakes, but when we do, it's coming in little pockets that are dooming us. And it feels like that's what happened last night. And I love that the Avalanche fought back, just couldn't get that last tying goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's right.
I'm sorry.
You're right. I feel like Cooper's right. It's like sometimes they just look so good, and then for a few minutes, all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and then you got to battle back from whatever mistakes you just made. And that's exactly what you said right here. I mean, I thought they showed great resilience in the third, and you get that pointer goal, and we've been talking about how we want Point to do more, and that's so great to see. And look, I think we went into this also saying, I see this as a loss, maybe, and it was, and I don't think this is a bad loss by any means. I mean, this is the best team in the league, as we discussed yesterday. So I don't think there's anything to hang our heads about here, but I do think there's still several issues. And number one for me is just giveaways. 14 again. It's just too many. You can't win games giving the other team the puck constantly,
Colorado did they had a little bit less. 11. I mean, not the cleanest for either team. I go back to, I think the giveaway stat is, I think there's a little bit of an evolution there.
Yeah.
I think just in general, the average number of giveaways that a team has per get is going up a little bit. And I think maybe it's just, maybe that's just like the way the game is kind of evolved. Like, I think maybe there's more emphasis on the stretch passes and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting. I'll have to do like a full deep dive on that stat sometimes. You said there's not too much we can't hang our hat on. You know what we can? The power play. Listen to this, Greg. 2 for the last 24 headed back in the last 6 games. This is the team with Victor Hedman and Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point and all those players, right? Just double checking that we're still covering the same team here.
What's still them boys.
What's going on here? Like, it is insane to me that the Lightning have this amount of offensive talent and they just can't get anything going. They even shuffled it a little bit last night with Brandon Hagel moving to the first power play unit, Oliver Bjorkstrand switching back to the second. Whether it's the first line, whether it's the second unit, it's just nothing is getting going.
I know. It's crazy. I don't even know what to think about it anymore. Like, I don't even know how you fix it, to be honest with you. It's like you just keep sending them out there and hope they click eventually. Like, I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah. Well, if you asked me while I was planning, I would have said, you know what the solution is? You got to put all your big guns together. Like, put Brandon Hagel out there on the first line, just load up and just try to get some chemistry going. But that's what they did last night.
Yeah.
They did that last night, and they still looked completely anemic. And it is a little bit of a bugaboo right now because a power play goal, the Lightning had some chances. Like, three power play opportunities against the best team in the league ain't nothing. And you got to do something with one of those. Special teams is going to come up huge down the stretch as we get deeper into this NHL season. And you're going to have to take advantage of these opportunities because that's where the good teams get you, is when they go up with the man advantage, they're able to make you pay for your mistakes. Lightning haven't, threatened at all. Like, they haven't looked dangerous. And, it's interesting because I do think, not too much, but I do think there is a little bit of, this is causing other teams to look at the Lightning and go like, okay, we can play a little bit more aggressive because they know they're not being able to hurt us on the power play right now.
Right. But yeah, you're right. 28th in the league on the power play is just absolutely abysmal. And at least 20% conversion rate, they're at 13.6. That's horrendous. I think they were close to 30 the last several years, other than this past year.
Yeah.
And to be 13 now with the same guys is puzzling. I mean, I think Vegas is 25%, like exactly, and they're 8th in the league. So, I mean, that just shows you how awful 13% really is,
Yeah. I mean, power play, I think, we talked about evolution of stats. I think power play has actually gone up the past few years. So for the Lightning to drop in percentage, it's kind of staggering.
Yeah, with some of the best players in the world too.
Yeah. I did love seeing Dominic James get some power play time.
Me too. I really like him out there, actually, like a lot. He looks really good. He's flying, and he chases the pucks really well too. That's something they really needed.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what they do moving forward because, we talked about Anthony Cirelli being kind of the MVP of this team. Do you move him to the first unit? Do you, shuffle some things around? I mean, I don't know. It seems like John Cooper's tried a lot, and it still looks a little bit anemic. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. But I feel like they have to sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's I think more hurtful because it's like this was an issue at the end of last year, and you kind of hope that you work through that over the summer and maybe early on in the season, and it's just been worse. And I don't get it.
Yeah. One thing I did love last night though is the lineup that the Lightning rolled out for this game, and they're going to have some interesting decisions when Nick Paul comes back into the lineup. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit when we come back. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. NBA is back just like the NHL, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you just want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, go to FanDuel.com to download the app and place your first $5 bet. We're back on Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Steven. And Greg, as we pointed out earlier, kind of forgot to give the plus for my plus minus, but it plays exactly into the discussion we're about to have. So my plus from last night's game, I love the lineup that John Cooper rolled out for this one. The big plus was Max Crozier back on the ice. A little bit of a surprise. I don't think you or I expected to see him kind of come back off IR right in the middle of a road trip, but it was good to see him back out there. But my plus was that John Cooper didn't shuffle anything on defense.
Yeah.
He didn't shuffle anything at all. He loved that the defense was playing well. You know, you look at Dastow, who absolutely has earned his ice time. You look at Lilberg, who, cover your ears, Greg, has played really well these past few games. And, you know, there was that sort of gap in that second line, and we're kind of thinking, okay, you know, would we see, you know, them continue to roll with Curtis Douglas, Jack Finley, whatever? No, John Cooper just rewarding that defense, keeping them together, and then recognizing that Max Crozier had a really good start to the year and rolling with the 7 defenseman lineup. What were your thoughts on how John Cooper handled Crozier's return last night?
No, I thought it was great. And like you said, I was not expecting him to return. And I'm glad he's back because I think he's one of the best defensemen on the team. But that being said, he did look a little bit rusty last night, and I don't think that's bad. I just, you know, he hasn't been playing.
Sure.
But he did skate 10 minutes, and I'm glad he got back out there. We're going to need him down the stretch. So I think he's a great slot in. I think, like you said, too, Dastow, he's so good.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost looking like the best defenseman on the team. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. We'll see. We need to see some more play from him. But, I mean, he had 3 hits. He had an assist. Like, he's just everywhere. He does everything.
Yeah. I mean, he's 27 years old. Spent the last 3 seasons in Finland and then in Sweden. The last time we saw him play hockey in North America, he was in the ECHL. And here he is. He's a guy that's out here looking like one of the best defensemen on the Tampa Bay Lightning, a seasoned vet, a guy that's reliable that you can go out there and win a cup with. It's amazing that Dastow has been able to put all this together. Interesting discussion coming up, though, because it seems like Nick Paul is getting closer to return. He's been skating with the team for a while. But as we just mentioned, who do you take out? Because everybody in this lineup, Greg, has been playing really solid hockey during this 6-game win streak.
Yeah. Looking at this forward group, it's tough. Do you take out someone who's struggling now? Do you kind of rotate someone in and out, like James or something like that? Is it Holmberg?
And here's the other thing is that we talk about those forward lines. There's so much chemistry going on there right now. Like Yanni Gord, Pontus Holmgren, Zemgus Girgensons. That has been one of the best lines I think the Lightning have rolled out this whole season. The 3 of them look so good every time they're on the ice together. Definitely. And then, you mentioned, taking out maybe Dominic James sits out, but are you really going to take out Dominic James? Like, he's been a huge shot in the arm.
Yeah.
It's just like, what do you do here?
I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm going to do it because I'm a realist. But I think you take Gage out. I just don't think he's looked particularly wonderful by any means. Again, I don't think he's hurting the team necessarily, but he's also not really been contributing a ton. And maybe healthy scratching him like on occasion and just throwing Paul in there for now and letting him just watch a few games. And if another guy struggles, he can get another shot. Maybe him and James are kind of going back and forth if needed. But I think if I'm taking someone out from the roster they put on the ice last night, it would probably be him.
So would you roll with 7 defensemen still?
I think I would until I felt more comfortable with Crozier returning to his like full self. But then again, like I would sit Lilleberg so fast.
I was about to say I am shocked that you did not say, yeah, Lilleberg, sit down.
Yeah, I think again,
I'm kind of shocked that you did not make that pitch.
No, you gotta give Crozier some time to readjust. But I think if once he does, you just send Lilleberg out. I mean, he only skated 8 minutes yesterday. He didn't do a ton. I mean, he didn't have a bad game, like you said, and he didn't take any penalties. So that to me is a huge win with the Lilleberg. But he only skated 8 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's not like this huge asset right now.
No, I agree with that. Look, for Nick Paul, I'm looking at this big gap on that second line.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's Anthony Cirelli has been the consistent center. It seems like they've kind of alternated between Hagel and Gensel on there that season. I'm wondering if you just put Nick Paul there and just see how things go. And I know he's kind of been more of a third line guy, but he has jumped up, in recent years. And I think maybe if you wanted to kind of pair Gensel with Anthony Cirelli on that second line to give a little bit more offensive zhuzh and then put Brandon Hagel on that first line, I think Nick Paul can kind of be like the guy what Brandon Hagel has been, where he's just kind of the bumper for that line, the guy that's going to go down there and win the pucks,
right.
Start the play, really get the forecheck going. I think Nick Paul can kind of be that. It is interesting to go because, I do look at Gage and I'm not seeing a lot from him so far this season, which I didn't think we would be talking about. His ice time, he'd had more ice time than he usually does last time, but I can't tell you one play that Gage made. That tells you he's just not having the same effectiveness this year, but
he's not. Yeah.
I would almost give him a start a little bit and just try to go 6 defensemen, 12 forwards, and try to see if you can build a little bit more consistent energy from your forward lines.
Yeah.
I'll say it since you didn't know. I'd take out Lilleberg right now. He's been playing well, but I think Crozier is a little bit more of an upside, and I think there's no way you take out Dasto.
No, absolutely not.
Because he's, I think, been one of your consistently best defensemen in the last little bit. So that's what I would do.
No, I'm completely there with you. I mean, if you can get Victor Hedman to stop making a couple of silly plays over the last couple of games, you take out Lilleberg, and then you get Crozier back to health and form, your defense all of a sudden looks really powerful. You got Crozier, Dastu, Moser, Chernak, Hedman, McDonough. That's a unit. If they play well, that's a tough defense. And I really, what I like about Dastu that I feel like no one really comments on, especially like commentators in the games. He's so physical. He's actually a decent hitter, and they need some more physicality. Like ever since he entered the lineup, the Lightning have had like an uptick in hits. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like they had 23 hits yesterday, and generally they've been getting out hit. So I like to see that because they do need some physicality, and that's what they brought in. The Mountain.
The Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, Curtis Douglas.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Because they needed some physicality, and I just think that was a little excessive in that department. And Dastu is that happy medium where he's very talented. He makes a lot of plays, but he's also physical.
Yeah. What nickname do we? Oh, White Monster.
White Monster. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, there we go. There's your new nickname, Curtis Douglas, White Monster. No, there's going to be a lot to think about, I think. For number one, kudos to JBB and his scouting staff for finding Dasto to begin with, because that's been a home run. Kudos to John Cooper for being able to use them, and Dominic James too, but being able to put them on the ice and just say, screw it, show me what you got.
Right.
I those are two great finds. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot to talk about. It's going to be interesting when Nick Paul does come back. Again, it feels like he's been skating with the team for 2 weeks. It's just we haven't heard anything.
Is he still on a non-contact? Do you know?
I think last check, I think he was still skating with the non-contact jersey. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Makes me feel like he's at least a week or two out if he's still in that.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I don't know. Big game coming up for the Lightning. Feels like we've said that all week, but they have the Vegas Golden Knights next.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the end of the road trip. Again, big win against them a couple weeks ago to kind of kick off, I thought, this big win streak. I thought that was kind of the first game this year that the Lightning really looked at the Lightning. Vegas is going to be looking for revenge because, hey, they're also one of the best teams in the NHL. So a lot to talk about tomorrow when we talk about our preview for the Golden Knights versus Lightning. Hey, if you're listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform. Hit that subscribe button. Really helps us out, and it lets you guys know when we have new content for you. Also, be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. Just search Locked On Lightning, and you'll find us. That's going to do it for us on today's Locked On Lightning. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. Back with an all-new episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.